The way I like to explain cash flow, because I think most people have a different view on this, is very simple. There are only a few things that comprise cash flow. And a lot of people stick right here. So you hear a lot of people talk about gross income, net income, things like that. So in my world, or in the rental world, a lot of this income would be like from my renters paying rent for their 1 or 2 or 3 bedroom apartments, or in a retail center. It might be a Subway franchise in a big commercial center paying rent to the landlord, or in a commercial office or a commercial warehouse paying for your office building or whatever. So this income can come in lots of different ways. And there's a bunch of components inside of income. So there's not only rent, but there's what we call other income. And other income could be parking income. It could be income for using some of the facilities. It could be income that your landlord's charging you for things that you're doing, like the utilities and things like that. So income can come from lots of different ways. In the apartment world, we have pet income, we have parking income, we have income for people having yards. We have all kinds of things that we do inside of there that grow the income, so it doesn't have to be just rent. And so what you want to do, obviously, when you're buying something, is you want to find something where the income is not maximized. In other words, what you want to find is a problem. You want to find something where the income is low, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. The other piece that is extremely important to understand would be the expenses. And the two of these comprised is all you really need to know, and this is how everything gets valued. So let's talk a little bit about expenses. So expenses for really anything, the ones that everybody can think of on the top of their head would be like property taxes. That would be an expense of whatever real estate deal you have, whether it's a single family home, an apartment building, a commercial office building, it doesn't really matter. Another one is insurance. So if you have a mortgage, or even if you don't have a mortgage, the lender is going to make you insure the property, and they're going to make you insure it based on the things that they want it insured for. Certain values, certain deductibles, certain coverages, those kinds of things. So that's another expense. Another expense would be the utilities. So most properties have water, they have sewer, some have gas, some have electric, most have electric. So those are the kinds of things, on the utility side. In addition to that, you might even have trash. So these are all kind of some of the expenses that you'll see that can take away from the income. Another one would be property management. If the property was big enough and you didn't have the time, then that property management expense is a real expense. It takes people and effort to manage the property itself, to produce the financial statements, to kind of manage the tenants or the residents, and those kinds of things. Then you have your marketing and your advertising, to make sure that people know about it as you're trying to fill up the occupancy and all those kinds of things. So all of those things, and it's not limited to those things, because we haven't actually gotten into capital expenses, which would be the roof and the parking lot and the painting of the property and some of the basic systems. And, we have properties where we have underground water leaks, and we have boilers that break, and we have big things like pools and pool decking that needs to be redone, and all those kinds of things are real expenses that can take away from your income. And all of this basically comes down to what we call the net operating income. Now, you're going to hear it, most people call this NOI. So NOI, or net operating income. But what happens when you bring this to the bank? The bank looks at this number to determine whether or not you can pay the loan. That's it. So the bank is always taking a look at what is the NOI of a property, because the bank is evaluating how much loan to give you, how much debt they're actually going to give you. So the next piece is actually the debt. And the beautiful thing about debt is, as I'm going to talk about in some of the next points, is the debt will get as large as the NOI or the net operating income is. So if you can grow your net operating income, you're going to get more debt. So the net operating income will grow and the debt will grow over time. And that's how the system works. So how do I grow the net operating income? A lot of people ask this question, and the way to do it is by increasing the income or lowering the expenses. That's it. And so that all of this has to do with the cash flow. So why is this important? This is so important because as you start to run out of money like I did as a young man, when I put all my money in my early deals and I didn't have any left, I had to go raise capital from people. And I had to go find investors to do my next deal and my next deal and my next deal. And now we have about 1,000 accredited investors investing in our deals. So all of them, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what they do, they all want to know, if I give you $100,000 or $1 million, how much am I going to get back on that million or 100,000? That's it.